which way I am, so you'll have to excuse me. Probably this way. So I could probably just do it this way, honestly. Yeah, we'll just go vertical. We'll go vertical. Why not? We'll do it that way. So, what's good? What's going on? I hope everybody is here. I don't know which way to really do this, so I'm just gonna do this like this. Um, what's good, Marvel fan? How are you doing? Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, Chadwick. Rest in peace, Chadwick. So today's live stream is kind of a interesting one. First off, I want to give my condolences to Chadwick Boseman, who passed away on this day 4 years ago. And this is about Recast Tchalla. Now, if you guys have been on the internet is pretty heated about this topic right now. What's up, Caden? What's up, Marvel fan? They're pretty heated about this topic right now, which I mean, is your opinion, which I do understand some sides to it from that angle. But for me, Chadwick Boseman is one of my favorite actors of all time. The first ever movie that I went to go see is actually an interesting story in itself. I previously didn't know anything about Chadwick Boseman until 42, the Jackie Robinson story, which is the movie me and my dad went to go see because my dad told me about Chadwick Boseman. He was like, "Man, there's this really talented actor named Chadwick Boseman. You should definitely go see this movie." And growing up, I was very interested in Jackie Robinson, and still now. And when I went to go see the movie for the first time, Chadwick Boseman was an actor that I instantly was drawn to because of the charisma, the range that he had, and I ultimately just enjoyed his acting. And I went back to see the Marshall movie, and obviously, Message from a King, which is one of my favorite movies. Obviously, James Brown. I grew up with James Brown. My parents, if you have parents that are, depending upon what age you grew up with James Brown, you grew up with, all these, legends, singers, artists, band musicians. Like I grew up with all of that. So for me, it was just amazing to see Chadwick Boseman do all these roles and just do it so well and so phenomenally. Even his last role, Remy Ma, like that is such a really good film. And 21 Bridges, even though there were some things I had some issues with in 21 Bridges, his acting alone is what carried that movie, in my honest opinion. So when Black Panther, hey, what's up, Marvel fan? Glad you're back. So when Black Panther came out, I was in high school at the time, 2018, which I still note 2018 being one of the most iconic years for Marvel. We had Into the Spider Verse, we had Black Panther, we had Infinity War, we had Daredevil season 3, which is my favorite season of Daredevil. 2018 was just a phenomenal year for Marvel, and you guys know I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, the MCU is dead and all this other stuff, because I don't believe in that. I know why certain people say certain things that they say. Any franchise has a low period and they can easily come back, so I don't believe any of that, in my honest opinion. Hey, whoever you are in the chat, you may say Marvel is dead. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. So I'm not gonna knock you and tell you that you're wrong. So if you feel that Marvel's dead, you're free to feel that way. Um, so many women boss in it. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about, but women deserve to be in a lot of great positions just like men do, so I disagree with you. But yeah, you said Kaden, you said James Brown's the boss. He is the boss. Really great artist. If you guys haven't heard James Brown, definitely go check out his music. I mean, again, one of the greatest artists of all time, the Godfather of Soul. You love 42, that's awesome. Yeah, 42 was such a great movie. Like I said, Chadwick Boseman, like, he had a lot of great roles, not just Black Panther. And I don't want people, and I feel like people are missing the point when people say that they want T'Challa recasted. They think that, Chadwick Boseman didn't have any other roles that are we're treating, as if Black Panther or T'Challa was the only role he had. That's not what we're saying. We acknowledge and, enjoy all of the roles that he's done throughout his career. Again, Lincoln Heights. I binge watched that with my family, and I did not know, and that was during the pandemic. Can we say pandemic? I think we can say pandemic. So, I was amazed by that because I didn't know he was in that show. So again, it's amazing when you can discover things, and even when people pass away, you can still discover new things about them. So that kind of keeps that legacy alive. Which brings me to my point of Recast T'Challa and why I feel like Recast T'Challa is not being disrespectful to the legacy of Chadwick Boseman and what he brought to the character. I think that when it's all said and done, Black Panther is a character that we want to see. We want to see more of. We want to see more of his stories told. I would love to see him interact with the Fantastic Four. Just like his first appearance in the comics. I would love to see him have a relationship with Storm, and then the aftermath of that. I would love to see T'Challa and Namor, like in Black Panther 2, like they originally planned it out to be. I would have loved to have seen that. I would love to see T'Challa and Doctor Doom. I would love to see T'Challa join the Illuminati. There's so many stories with T'Challa, and I'm not talking about Black Panther. I'm talking about T'Challa as a person that I would have loved to have seen. And I would love to see now, I would love to see those stories continue. And that's why I think it would be great to have a new actor, a young and up and coming actor, or even an actor who's been around for a while to continue that legacy. Because again, there's so much story to tell. And I know there are people saying, "Oh, there's other black superheroes out there. You guys got Blade. You guys got a new Captain America." And that's all good. I'm looking forward to those films just as much as I would if T'Challa were to come back. But I do miss T'Challa. I miss Black Panther. I miss the Wakandan nature of just him and the world reviving around his character. Because, again, that's what it is. And I'm going to get into your comments. Let's see. What's up, Solomon? What's up? I see you guys discussing. You miss Black Panther. To me, I don't think it would be offensive to recast him. But that's just me. Yeah, yeah. Like again, this is all subjective. People are gonna feel like it is disrespectful, and again, I don't want to, get into people who feel like it is offensive. If it is, I completely understand. But we're just, we're the ones that are and want to see him recasted. We're just voicing our opinions on why. Again, like when I went to see Black Panther in high school, that was my first ever time seeing a superhero portrayed on screen. He wasn't a sidekick. He wasn't, a yes man. He was his own person. He made his own decisions. He had his own story. He didn't have to live through another mantle like Captain America, which again, I'm not displacing Sam or anyone like that. I'm just saying this is a character that you built up since the 60s, and people have been wanting to see this for years. And again, I know you can live through him with the comics and that sort of thing, but again, a lot of people like me got their first acknowledgement, or their first appearance of Black Panther is from the movie. It's just that's just the way it is. Not everybody grew up with the comics. Not everybody was around in 1963, when he appeared in the Fantastic Four comic. Not everybody was able to buy it, and I'm sure you can buy books of it and all of that, but again, for a lot of people the movie was their first appearance of this character. You know how they're making super soldier serum in all these Captain America movies? One thing they haven't thought of is the heart-shaped herb. I thought that would be cool if the leader finds out about that. That would be interesting. And even with Blade, right? Like we have Blade coming up, which I'm excited about. And I'm not one of these people who are dawning for Blade to get canceled. I'm not one of these people who are saying, "Oh, Mahershala Ali should leave," because Mahershala Ali he's an award-winning actor. He was in Luke Cage, and when he played Cottonmouth, he did a phenomenal job. And I wish we would have got more Cottonmouth in that show because he was one of my favorite characters. But when we got the announcement of him playing Blade, I was like, I'm excited. And yeah, we've been waiting years and years and years for this movie to come out. And I gotta be honest, it is kind of frustrating because this is a character that is a very popular character. People have known him. They may not have known him fully from the comics like some people, but they knew him from the movies, Wesley Snipe movies. They grew up with those. So again, why aren't we getting Blade going? Why do we have? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to, people who are looking forward to a certain series. But why do we have an Agatha show, but we don't have a Blade movie? We don't have a set concrete plan for Blade. Like, I want to know what in the world are they doing over there when it comes to priority over certain characters. But again, that's just me. Um, and like I said, I didn't want to verge too much far into that, but I felt like I need to put that out there. But again, going back to Black Panther. So think about it like this, right? So when Christopher Reeves died, and I know people have been using that analogy a lot, but when Christopher Reeves died and passed away sadly, and we didn't have a Superman for like 20 years, right? But they brought back Superman, and if I remember correctly, Superman Returns was literally a continuation of that same Superman with Christopher Reeve. Now, depending upon how you feel about that movie, that's up to you. But they still were able to continue the legacy of Christopher Reeve and Superman. And we've had many Superman iterations ever since. So to me, I don't understand why there can be many different Superman iterations, why there could be so many different Batman iterations. Let's not forget, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy passed away. You know what they did? They recasted, and Batman Cape Crusader, regardless of how you feel about Batman Cape Crusader, that's up to you. But they got Hamish Linklater to voice the character. Some people like him, some people don't. Again, Roger Craig Smith, they got him to voice Batman. So they're continuing that character in animation. So again, why can you not do that with T'Challa? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I need an answer, and the answers that they give are not really answers that feel thought out or concrete. Uh-oh. My bad. Let's see, what are you guys saying in the comments? T'Challa was special because of his character and his story isn't even over. Nice to see new comics though. I agree. They need to bring him back on screen. And yeah, that's the amazing thing. They're not like completely axing his character. They're still doing new comics for him, but maybe do some of those new comics that come out. Do some stories on those. Again, recast them, do some new stories along with it, and just see where it goes, because again, you never know. And again, you can always honor Chadwick through those movies like they do with Stan Lee. Every single movie, every single Marvel movie, even after his passing, spoilers for those who've seen Deadpool and Wolverine, there's a Stan Lee Easter egg, on the bus fight scene. Like, there's literally Stan Lee's cleaning something, right? So it's like you can still honor him. You can still honor Chadwick and still have a new Black Panther take over for the legacy of that character and for Chadwick himself. But again, people are always going to be upset. They're going to say that you're being insensitive. And if people feel like I've been insensitive doing this on his birthday, which wasn't the point, I'm doing this to honor Chadwick because, again, he was an actor that I grew up with, throughout my life. And, when I discovered him, it was something special. And I just want that legacy to continue. I don't want it to end. And when Wakanda Forever came out, I didn't even bother to watch it in the theaters because I wasn't sure what they were going to do. So I actually watched it at home. I won't say where, but at the time, I was just so disappointed with what I saw. I didn't like what they did. I didn't like the way they killed him off. I was like, why would you kill him off, especially when T'Challa is usually immune to certain diseases and stuff? I'm like, why would you do this? It just it felt more like a funeral it felt more like a funeral than it is supposed to be. And I'm not saying that Shuri cannot be Black Panther. I want to get that out the way. Shuri can be Black Panther because she is Black Panther in the comics. But if you wanted to have Shuri be Black Panther, you could have had both Shuri and T'Challa both be Black Panther. Let them both have the mantle. One of them can be, savvy smart, tech savvy smart. One of them can be street smart, strategic. There's nothing wrong with that. I like to think of it as like a team. If you guys wanted to set up like a team, you could do that. I mean, there's many different ways they could have gone about doing that. That I I don't understand. I don't know why they would do that. Do that. You can honor someone, but you can still keep the legacy alive. I want his legacy to continue and not to be paused or replaced. I Yeah, agree. Like it's just really like disappointing because again, and I'm gonna speak on this because as a black man, as an African American, as a black teenager growing up to see that movie, to see the cultural impact that it had. I remember going to school after that weekend, seeing the movie. I remember coming to school and seeing everybody wearing dashikis and all this African clothing around that time. Like it was something I had never seen before. Like obviously my parents, they grew up with that when it came to like a lot of the hip hop artists were going into their African roots and exploring and learning about certain things in Africa. So it was like a very like amazing thing to like see everybody doing Wakanda forever like that. That was such an amazing cultural impact for me, and it's something that will always live in my heart, and I want that to continue. I really do. But yeah, I want to hear everybody's thoughts on what y'all think about it. I'll honor T'Challa, and you should honor T'Challa. You should honor Chadwick. There's no one telling you that you can't honor both. You can honor both, and there are ways to honor both. But I think just, people online, and again, this is something that, again, it's people online, they take things and they run with it and they turn it into something negative. This Recast T'Challa movement was something that was very positive, very uplifting, something that would progress people forward because, again, when you have a history of you know me as an African American, when you see characters who are drug dealers, gangbangers, all these negative stereotypes, and you don't see any positivity, you don't see any people who are strong leaders, who are independent, who are smart, who are intelligent, capable, of doing amazing things. When you don't see that, you allow your children to grow up to think that these fallacies and these fantasies are things that they should live by, and it's not something they should live by. I really don't like that idea that Hollywood has stigmatized certain people to be certain ways when that's not true. It's not necessarily what people should be about. It's a deadline to recast them. Yeah, the Secret Wars. I'm hoping by Secret Wars they change this decision by making his son, because T'Challa Jr. Like what? Like no, this isn't what we wanted. We want a T'Challa. We don't want a son. We don't want a junior. We want a son. Yeah, that's how they do. Exactly, that's how they do black people in all these movies. They make us seem like we're the aggressive ones. We're this, we're that, we're criminals, we're drug dealers, like all of this, and we're not. There are black people like me and others who have successful businesses, who own their own land, their own car, their own everything. But you don't rarely get stories like that. And then when you do, they're not really promoted. Again, I could think of a show right now, Bel Air. There's a show called Bel Air. Some people have heard about it, some people like it, some people don't, but you don't really hear people really talking about it, even though Bel Air is a show that's showing a black rich family, being able to have all these resources and opportunities to their disposal and to their disposal and to try to help others. They don't want that, but they want you to continue having 50 seasons of 50 Cent show about drug dealers because that's what they want. They want you to keep living in that spectrum of life. Again, that's not how reality works. If you want something positive in your life, we have to continue to make stories that show us in a good light, that shows everybody in a good light, because stereotypes do nothing for us. They do nothing for us. That's how I feel about it. I just want to see more positive influences out there. And I hope that Marvel will do Blade justice. I hope Marvel will do right by Anthony Mackie. I hope Marvel will do right by Monica Rambeau. I hope Marvel would do right by all of the characters that all these people are going around saying, "Oh, things are woke and the DEI and all this other stuff." You know, I get so tired of hearing it because it's like they don't want anyone else to have a movie or have a show that doesn't look like them, and it shouldn't be that way. What's up, Carlson? What's up, Carson? Yeah, you have. Yeah, I got faith in the Blade movie too. I know a lot of people want the Blade movie to be canceled or this sort of thing, but I don't think it's gonna be canceled. One of the producers is Kevin Feige. I feel like Kevin Feige has faith in this movie. And this isn't the first time that movies have been delayed for a while and change directors and producers. This happens all the time in Hollywood. This is really nothing new. I think people are treating this like this is something brand new that just came out. Now this has been something that's been around since the beginning of Hollywood. I can there are plenty of documentaries and movies and ideas that people have had that didn't work out, that new leadership comes in, and things of that matter. Some movies don't come out until 15 years after. Like the Super Mario Brothers movie is an example. They worked on that movie for 15 years in development. Now imagine the amount of people they've asked to do the movie and it didn't work out, and they changed things, and storylines didn't agree with certain storylines, so people left, or things. Anything can happen when it comes to doing a movie or a TV show. And that's just the business. Twirls in her size as Electra. That's Blade. Yeah, yeah. And even like Electra, like I said, like there's so much story that Marvel can do with these characters. Again, like going back to T'Challa, there's so many stories they can do, and we want to see them. Let's see. Hollywood is terrible with stereotypes with both black people and Indians, Native Americans, and I think it made a lot of people in society more ignorant and less serious to real and uplifting ideas. Exactly. When all people see when they grow up is like stereotypes of people that are very outdated, that never really made any sense at all, that's what they're gonna see. They're gonna think when they see someone, when kids go to school, they're gonna think someone of that ethnicity is that way. They're gonna think someone on the street who's just trying to do an honest living is that way, and it shouldn't be that way. Gambit, do you know how long I've been waiting for this? I'm trying to make a name of myself out of this. Yeah, shout out to Gambit, man. Shout out to Gambit. If you guys saw the post credit scene, if you guys seen the post credit scene that Ryan Reynolds released, it's the same post credit scene. They just had Gambit on the TV, so you couldn't really see it. It's the same release footage. I did a reaction of it on my second channel if you guys want to check out that. But yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I want to say? And also, Chadwick Boseman's family has come out and said many times that they wouldn't mind a recast. They know how much this character means to people, and they want the character to continue. So again, like I just think people are just finding stuff to be angry about, and I know I know it's going to be a sensitive subject to a lot of people online because of his death. And again, we're not using people who are saying this for the most part. I can't speak for everybody, but people for the most part are not using his death to prioritize a recast. They want to continue his legacy, Chadwick Boseman's legacy, as well as the legacy of T'Challa, and you can do that. That's really all we're saying. Like that, it's really as simple as that. But again, people are going to take it however they're going to take it, and that's just the way it is. That's the internet. That's life. Yeah, I know, right? What's up, Kimberly? I hope you're doing good. Yeah, we're just having a great discussion. I'm reading all of your guys' discussion in the chat, and it's awesome, man. I love hearing all your discussions and just what you guys are saying. There's so many ideas, like you said, all of you like have some great ideas too. And again, if we could just have a meeting, just a meeting with Marvel Studios, I think there's a lot of great ideas that we can come up with. So again, maybe this is something that Marvel should do. Maybe they should get more into the fans, more into what people want. And I'm not saying doing 100% fan service because I feel like that would be very like repetitive, but I think there are some ideas that maybe some things that we would like to see that maybe, maybe it's, just hear us out. I think that that's just the idea. Just hear us out. Same thing with Recast T'Challa. Just hear us out. Maybe make a move, see what happens. Because again, you honestly never know. You never know what magic you might make. And that's why I'm looking forward to this new Superman movie that they're doing in the DCU. Because again, we don't know what we're going to get with this. David Cornsweet could maybe be a good Superman. And again, I have faith in James Gunn. I have faith in everybody over at DC that this movie, and I want that movie to do good. Just like if T'Challa is recasted, I want that movie to do good. I want whoever the next actor is, whether it's the guy from Snowfall or the guy from played Hawkman in Black Adam, or maybe some other potential actors that you guys maybe have some ideas of who could play T'Challa. Give them the opportunity to shine because again, you never know. And no one should feel like they need to be like Chadwick. Let them be their own Black Panther and still again honor the legacy of Chadwick. Again, that's all we're saying. Let's see. You said I love Chadwick's post uh role in the 2022 Ma Rainey film. It's on Netflix. It's about the 1930s. Oh yeah, I love that film. Him and Viola Davis. And anytime you have a movie with Viola Davis, just know you're gonna get some great acting across the board with him and her. I love their chemistry, their dynamic in that film. And again, it's just a testament to Chadwick Boseman and his ability to convey these characters and show the emotion and the range and the expression and the tones and the intellect he has. Because again, he graduated from I believe Howard University. If I'm fact check me on that, but I believe he graduated from Howard University. And if you guys have not seen his graduation speech, I would recommend go watching his graduation speech because it's one of the most inspiring, influential things of for me of all time, and that's something that I go back and listen to, every day, sometimes every day, sometimes on the day of his passing, because there's so much knowledge that he had, and I hated, you know, I remember if you guys remember on social media when he posted that video, and he was, at the time we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know he had cancer, but when he was slimmed down, and there were people making fun of him, but I was concerned because when we last saw him, he wasn't like that, but we didn't know at the time, and we didn't even know during when he was filming Black Panther that he was sick. We didn't know that, so that even like that hurts even more, just the fact that we just did not know what he was going through at the time, but he was still like a soldier, like a fighter, like a warrior, still able to tackle this role because he knew this role meant so much to people. Yeah, definitely listen to the Howard speech. You are definitely going to be, you know, just you are going to love, his speech and the way he says things. And you know, Matt Gala, if you guys know, Matt Gala is one of the most, big Hollywood events. I tell you that, that fit that he had for the Met Gala is always going to come up as one of the best Met Gala outfits of all time because just the whole outfit with the crosses on it, it was just so it's so cool. Like it's just, man, you can't top that in my opinion. You can't top that. Like that was just such a great Met Gala outfit. Um One day it would be really cool to like maybe try to recreate that outfit in his honor. Uh, Maybe one day that's an idea, a goal. I would love to do that because again, like Chadwick Boseman is just again he's someone that I look to as a future actor myself because I want to be an actor, and he really influenced me even more to want to step up my acting game. And him and Denzel Washington and Samuel Jackson and Sidney Poitier and Sammy Davis Jr. Like I grew up with like all different kind of eras of films because I love film. I love the just subjectiveness in film. I love the fact that there's so many different actors from so many different eras that you can look forward to. Even the ones that never won an award that just had really good, you know, really good performances. You know, there's so much you can learn from these people and their life stories and how they are able to portray certain characters. But yeah, you're right. It all happened so fast. It really did. Like again, like we just really did not know, and I was just concerned. I was really concerned seeing that video of him like that. I would love to hear Gambit say the line X-Men 97. Maybe he will. I know the voice actor for Gambit. He did do the actual quote in an interview somewhere on Twitter. I'm sure you can find it. It might be on YouTube as well. Hey, what's up, Anthony? I'm doing good. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good, my friend. Kimberly, you said, and the reason I love Black Panther is because he was a part of the Avengers. And I saw the Black Panther movies, including Wakanda Forever movie. It was great seeing him being honored by his family. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I tell you, I popped. I was like one of the people who were like, oh snap! Like when the Avengers went to Wakanda in Infinity War, I was like, oh snap! We're going to Wakanda. We're going to see T'Challa. Like I was so hyped to see that. And then when I tell you when he got blipped away, that hurt me. It was him and Spider-Man, both of their, when they got blipped away, that hurt me. Like we obviously knew like they were gonna come back in game, but that was just such a shocking moment that the heroes actually lost. But for me, it was like, dang, like we just got T'Challa, and he's just gone just like that. Like, oh man, like that was a different level of hurt for me. But it was awesome seeing him come back through the portal, uh, and then you have Sam saying on your left, and then you see him. He's like the first character popping out of the portal, and then I popped. Then that was a happy pop for me, and the whole crowd going crazy, all the characters coming back, they're all going to fight Thanos. Like that is one of the amazing theater experiences that I'm sure everybody is going to remember in this time. When the heroes, two things, when the heroes lost to Thanos and when the heroes beat Thanos. And even now with the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, with the cameos that we got and some of the things that we got, I'm sure there were moments that people were freaking out because I freaked out when Blade came up on screen. But when Gambit Channing Tatum as Gambit came on the screen, I freaked out even more because, for one, that was a fan casting that I heard for such a long time, and I knew they were going to do a movie, but the movie didn't work out. So that definitely caught me off guard. I did not know about that. Elektra as well. I was shocked. It was awesome to see X-23. The actress Daphne King, shout out to her. Love her. I hope she continues in the MCU because I would love to see more of her character and her portrayal of X-23. So many characters, people love the characters. Sherry's proud of T'Challa because she's always inventing stuff for T'Challa because family comes first in the Marvel Universe. Exactly. And I love the joke that she made in the first Black Panther movie. I think it was about the shoes. And T'Challa was like, well, what do you call these? And she's like, sneakers. It was just a very funny, like, quick line, but it's one that I always remember from that film. And just the bond, the brotherhood and sisterhood they had, I really enjoy seeing that. And even seeing his first appearance in the Civil War, he was so menacing in Civil War. Like, he was the guy you did not want to mess with because if you messed with him, it was on. It was on. So I love the energy he had in Civil War. I wish we could have. Again, I wish we could have gotten more of that. And again, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Phenomenal actor, and he will go down as one of the best actors of all time. Seriously, because he's done so many characters outside of what people know him as T'Challa, that when you go into the backlog and search his roles, you see the acting, you see who he was, you see the kind of characters he played and portrayed, and he always had a good reasoning to playing these characters. Not one character ever felt out of place for him to play. You understood and you knew why he played these roles. So yeah, I heard that Chemtim might return for Gambit. Yeah, I think it was Marvel Fan. I believe Marvel Fan or Solomon. I think it was one of you in the chat. You guys mentioned about the portal. His eyes were glowing orange. That is a portal. It looks like a Doctor Strange portal. So I can definitely see him returning, and I hope he does. And I said in my video, and I know there's some people who are like, it shouldn't happen. But I would love to see just one movie with Channing Tatum as Gambit just to fulfill that role. And again, it doesn't have to connect to the multiverse. It doesn't have to connect to the timeline. It could just be its own separate story, like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Though Guardians of the Galaxy had the holiday special had some connection to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It still felt like a side story. It felt like you were just hanging out with them during Christmas time. And I enjoy that. That's definitely a special that I go back to. Werewolf by Night is another one. Halloween's coming up. I suggest, if you guys haven't seen Werewolf by Night, definitely check that out. One of my favorite Marvel projects. I love the supernatural horror side of Marvel, and I hope with Blade and the Midnight Suns and Ghost Rider and all these characters, I hope we get more of that side of the MCU, because there's so much that they can tell with that. I did not say that, but I did have one problem with Gambit. His eyes were not red and black like in the comics. Yeah, I wonder. I would like to ask why they didn't do his eyes like they do like they have in the comics. Maybe it was too hard for them to do. I don't know. Would they have done contacts? Would contacts have helped? I don't know. But maybe he will. Maybe if he comes back, maybe he'll have his eyes the next time. That's something we'll definitely have to wait and see. If he comes back. But I think he will come back. Those are. You see, Kimberly said Blade, Gambit, Elektra, Rogue, and Daredevil, She-Hulk. Are those some of your favorite characters, Kimberly? Because if they are, that's a great lineup of characters. Are those characters you would like to see? Okay, those are characters that you are that are your favorite. That's awesome. Um, I'm a big uh, I'm a big fan of Blade, Gambit. Gambit's my guy. Like, I always keep a card on me, so shout out to Gambit. Daredevil, I have some Daredevil comics. Rogue, obviously, Rogue and Gambit, their relationship, it's a vibe. Um, so yeah, there's so many amazing Marvel characters out there, and I feel like sometimes we take these characters for granted because we want certain things, and I feel like those certain things will come. We just have to wait until time, and maybe that's the hard thing about always making movies, is that the fact that there's so much time and effort put into films that they're not always able to do, films right then about certain things. And that's why I'm hoping with the Marvel animation and Marvel television brand that they have now, and even Marvel games. Shout out to Marvel Games, which I know we're getting a Black Panther game down the road. We're getting a Black Panther and Captain America game next year, Rise of Hydra, and I'm looking forward to that. So I hope they take those brands and really use them and benefit with doing more TV shows, more animation with these characters until they can get them ready for live action, and then we can go from there. And then who knows, this may give them some influence while they're doing that to do some of the things in live action, maybe change it up a bit, maybe do some things different. Who knows? Like the possibilities are endless. Instead of Midnight Suns, I hope they do Marvel Knights. I actually don't know what the Marvel Knights are. Let me know what the Marvel Knights are, Marvel fan, because I would love to know about those characters. And if you have any comic book suggestions, let me know some comic book suggestions, because I'll definitely see what I can find on the Marvel Knights. I know one group I would love to see is Alpha Flight in the future. So hopefully we do get an Alpha Flight project. I think that would be pretty cool. Um, Maybe they'll do Excalibur. We'll have to see. I think Excalibur would be kind of cool too. I know there were talks about Captain Britain at a time, and you guys remember during the rumors about Henry Cavill, and there were talks about him playing like a Wolverine or him playing Captain Britain. So now we know who he was actually going to play. So that was cool, Calverine. Let me know if you guys think Henry Cavill should play the MCU Wolverine, or do you guys want someone else to play the MCU Wolverine? That's another discussion that I would like to have in the future. Let's see. You said Marvel fan. Marvel Knights are like the Midnight Suns and the Netflix Defenders combined. Ooh. Okay. I'm definitely gonna check that out. I'm definitely gonna look up some comics tonight on Marvel Knights and see what I can find. Like I said, if you guys have any suggestions about Marvel Comics, Marvel Knight Comics, or any Marvel comics, let me know. And I would love to check them out because I've been, meaning to check out some new comics anyway. It's like Midnight Suns, but a bit more grounded. Um, it doesn't feel far out like in the middle. Okay, so it's in the middle between kind of that street level element, but it has some of that supernatural element in there as well. I'm guessing that's what you're referring to. Yeah, let me know. Let me know all of your thoughts about recast T'Challa. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys feel differently? Do you have a new take? Um, okay. Let's see. You said yes, exactly. Okay. Like I said, I will look up some Marvel Knights comics tonight, and I'll. If you guys want me to do like a stream talking about Marvel Knights at some point, I'd love to. Any comics, like I said, any characters, I'd love to talk about them at some point. Okay, Kimberly, I agree with you. Awesome, awesome. And even if there are some people watching the stream who don't agree with me, again, there's no reason to find be hateful or nothing. There's no dislike or anything like that. We're all different. We all have different opinions, and it's okay. It's okay. It's all good. Um, and that's why film is a very subjective thing. Like some people will like a film, other people won't. Some people, a lot of people will like the film, and one person may not. So again, it just all depends, really. To me, do it. Secret Wars, recast them. It'll definitely make the most sense. Yeah, definitely. Because with Secret Wars, I definitely know for sure they're gonna do a reboot. There are going to be some things that are still familiar from the previous MCU, but I do feel like they're going to do some new things different. Um, which I do feel like I do think Marvel wishes they would have had, characters like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Let's see, we got June Rose. What's up, June? How are you doing? What's up, man? What's up, After Animates? How are you doing too? Welcome to the stream. I hope everybody is doing good. I hope they're having a great night or day wherever you guys live. You're new here. Awesome. Well, let me know what you think. What do you think about Recast T'Challa? Do you have anything that you would like to talk about? We're all here just having a great discussion. And yeah, I heard it's not going to be a full reboot, but like a soft reboot. Okay. Yeah, I have been hearing the same thing. So yeah, there may be some things that may stay the same, but then there'll be some things that would be like, okay, well that's kind of new. So yeah, yeah. But I do, like I said, I Do you guys ever have like a what if scenario in your head? Like, what if Marvel would have had all the rights acquired to the Hulk and to the Fantastic Four, to X Men? Would things have been different? Would we have had the X Men like the first phase? Would we have had the Fantastic Four in the first phase? Because honestly, if it was up to me, if I had the lineup, here's what would be my lineup for Phase One. It would definitely be like Fantastic Four, Spider Man, Captain America, um, Black Panther, and I'd say Iron Man, and then Black Widow. Like I would have given Black Widow her movie early on in Phase One, because that's what I feel like about her movie. What sucked is that she didn't get a chance to get a movie early on in the phases. She got one right after her character passed off, and you know, in Infinity War. So it kind of again it sucks. Is it Infinity War? No, no, not Infinity War. It's Endgame because she died on the you guys know. So yeah, that would be my lineup. I'm pretty sure there's some other things I would have had lined up. Like I would have had the X Men. Like I probably would have done, had like the X Men team kind of be off on its own separate path for right now, and then maybe in later moments, build up to Avengers versus X Men, but definitely not a first phase thing. I think that would have been like maybe a third or fourth phase thing, and then when in after Endgame, I would have done a whole phase on the blip. I think that would have been really cool if they had done like a whole phase like during the blip. What happened? Like what heroes were around? Were there new heroes about? Like what was the life like during the blip for people? So I think I would have done like a phase on that, and then probably another phase. I probably wouldn't have done a multiverse phase anytime soon because of how conflicting I feel like it is now. It's very conflicting to a lot of people. So I would have waited on something like that, like far down the line. Let's see. I think Avengers would not be that big because in the comics, Avengers were never that big. It was usually X Men, Spider Man, Fantastic Four. So yeah, Avengers would be sidelined. Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like I feel like you start out with the heavy hitters like Spider Man. You start out with the X Men. You start out with the Fantastic Four because you lay a foundation with these characters. Because all of these characters, in some way, shape, or form, are very pivotal to Marvel as a whole, the whole Marvel history. And there's more characters, of course, but just those three are definitely ones that are very pivotal in Marvel. The Fantastic Four, like uh, Captain America, like Spider Man, like the again, like those characters were big in the comics. So I think it would have been best to lead up with those, the Hulk, Thor, like all those heroes, and then if you wanted to build towards the Avengers later down the line, you could. But I feel like those characters I would have given them at least three to four movies to kind of complete an arc with them by themselves and have their own separate stories, and then you give like a big like Avengers movie, or maybe they have to team up with someone. Maybe that's one of the movies they could do, mate, that I would have done. Maybe a team up with another hero. Kind of set up like this Avengers thing. Like maybe we should start a team. Okay, do you know any other heroes? And maybe who knows? Maybe some of those characters could have appeared in another movie to kind of set that up. But again, I'm not really sure as far as like how I would have gone about executing it, but I know I would have had like an idea to kind of like set the stones really early, but not show off the full prize until when it feels like it's paid off. Because as times as viewers, we want things to feel like it's been paid off. That's why Infinity War Endgame For a lot of people, they can't fathom anything else but Infinity War and Endgame. And again, I'm sure we've had great projects outside, after. Um, so, but I know people like kind of are like, Infinity War Endgame was that the moments paid off for them. And I'm sure with these phases, the it's gonna pay off too. I want to give it faith. I want to try to give it time. I'm not happy with a lot of things they've done. There's some things I definitely would have done differently. But I don't hate Marvel. I don't hate the MCU. I'm not one of these people who think the MCU is dead. I just no. I want to have faith, and that's how I feel about DC. DC's been rough. But I still have faith that DC is going to do some great things, and with the DCU and with James Gunn and how he's laying out the groundwork for it, it's got me interested. There's a lot of new characters that we have not heard of before. Well, I haven't heard of before because I'd say I'm more Marvel than I am DC. I know some DC characters, but I don't know like a, a lot. I don't know more DC characters than know Marvel characters. So for me, it's kind of like these new characters. I'm like, okay, I'm interested because when he did Peacemaker, I didn't know nothing about Peacemaker until Suicide Squad. And John Cena, I obviously knew John Cena. I'm a wrestling fan. I grew up with John Cena, so I had to check it out. Just kind of that being one of the big reasons, because again, I you can't see me. I grew up with John Cena, so yeah. I know I'm going off topic, but yeah, obviously, like I said, the going back to the point, all that is, we just want to see T'Challa stories continue, and we just want to see a new up and coming actor honor that legacy and honor that character T'Challa because we know there's so much more potential, there's so much more story and elements that you can tell, and we know Marvel can do it. I know Marvel can do it because they got the history, they got the backlogs, they got the comics to prove it. There's great writers out there who would love to come onto the scene and say, "Hey, let me put my foot forward. Let me show you a T'Challa story we could do. Let's write a T'Challa story that can be good, just as good as the one with Chadwick, just as good as the one with you know whoever characters they decide to introduce. Even with the Eyes of Wakanda series, Eyes of Wakanda series. Um, I mean, it's going back to Wakanda's roots, but again, I would have preferred a Black Panther cartoon. I would have preferred a T'Challa cartoon over Eyes of Wakanda. And I'm not saying that to discredit Wakanda and say Wakanda is boring. Like, obviously, the world of Wakanda, there's so much to explore, so many new characters that we haven't been introduced yet that I'm sure we'll get introduced to at some point. But I just would have preferred that instead over what they're doing with Eyes of Wakanda. And plus, it's only 4 episodes. I'm like, 4 episodes, like, I don't know. I don't think that would have been how I would have gone about it personally. And also another thing, What If? I'm not the biggest fan of What If, but the T'Challa Star Lord episode I enjoyed. I actually got really emotional watching that episode because that was like technically our last performance of Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. That was our last performance. So that really that really struck a nerve with me when that happened, when that episode came out. And to me, that's the best What If episode, in my honest opinion. There's some good ones, but that one will always be an iconic episode for me. And then there were even people back then, like, they could have done something with that, like maybe T'Challa Star Lord. Maybe you could do something with that. Maybe you could bring his character in from space. Like, there were so many theories and ideas that people had that they could have done for that, and they just didn't do it. Because What If is connected to the MCU, and I mean, they didn't really confirm in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness if that was the same Doctor Strange from What If, but he definitely had the dark element vibe of the Doctor Strange and what if from Multiverse of Madness. So I kind of took it as maybe that is him in live action because it's a multiverse. I'm sure that there are animated characters that obviously can come in from, live action to animation and vice versa if they wanted to connect it that way. Personally, I don't see that being a good idea because I feel like that would overcomplicate things even more. But for projects for like What If, I think What If would be good to maybe canonize in the MCU. Maybe not all elements, because again, there's some things with What If that I'm just not a fan of. Like what the new character Kahari, I think that's her name in season two. They're saying that about 5 years she's gonna make her live action appearance in the MCU. So they're taking some elements from What If. So yeah, yeah, you know the feeling, Kimberly. You know the feeling. It's just yeah. When you're a Marvel fan, you're not an internet Marvel fan. You're not, I've been here, around the end game, you know, parade and that sort of thing. When you watch the movies since the beginning, and a lot of people tend to look at all the previous phases with rose tinted lenses. You know, a lot of people seem to think that a lot of things in a lot of the phases from the past were phenomenal, 5 out of 5s. But there are some movies in the other phases that just did not make any sense, that were just boring. Thor: The Dark World. Don't even get me started on that movie. As much as I appreciate Thor as a character, I do feel like Thor in MCU, I would have definitely done him differently. Tone down the joking. You can make Thor have jokes and be comical, but when it's all said and done, Thor is a god. Let him be a god. Let him be serious. Let him show his power. Show what he's capable of. That's what I want to see, personally. But again, it's not up to me. It's up to Disney. It's up to Marvel. It's up to their decision. But again, I'm gonna try to my best to just support them and see where they go. But again, I'm gonna voice my opinions on things that I do not like, things that I wish were different, and that's just always gonna be it. That's never changing. Yeah, I hope the camera quality is good. I don't know which way the camera is. I don't know if it's that way, this way. So I'm just gonna go with it. But yeah, I'm glad for everybody who tuned in. Marvel fan, Solomon, Kimberly. I'm gonna go down the list. I don't want to miss anybody. Caden, shout out to Caden. Shout out to June Rose. Shout out to After Animates. Shout out to just anybody, even the lurkers out there, because I know not everybody comments and not everybody talks. But shout out to y'all as well, just tuning into the streams and just having these conversations. Mrs. Lashonda, hey Lashonda, I made a comment. I love the content. I'm with the recasting. I think it would honor Chadwick. I agree. I agree. Shout out to you. Let's see. Am I missing anyone else? I'm just giving you guys shout out to Carson. Shout out to my buddy Carson. Uh, it's just been a really good conversation out there, and just seeing all these many conversations that you all are having, and that's what I love about this. It's a hard space out there on the internet when everybody's bickering at each other, arguing at each other, calling each other names. But you can have a community where everybody can come, sit down, have an opinion, have different opinions. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you don't, but everybody is very respectful towards people's opinions. I know we had someone in here earlier who was a jerk. I'm sure he's gone now, but we're not going to worry about him. There's always going to be people out here who are very negative. There's always going to be people out here who are pushing very toxic narratives, and that's just the way it is. That's just how life is. But don't let it get the best of you, because we're all human at the end of the day. We're all trying to learn, we're all trying to have new and different experiences. And I say all the time, but enjoy what you do, enjoy what you love, and be good at it. Be who you want to be. Like, people get so caught up in, the idea of trying to be what someone else wants you to be, or that sort of thing. And I'm kicking it back to Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman was the kind of man who, he didn't care what anybody said. I'm sure he's gotten a lot of comments, a lot of rude comments in his day. I'm sure he got bullied in school. We all get bullied. I'm sure he's had people say, "Oh, your acting is not all that." And but that didn't stop him. He was able to continue to keep going and putting out the great acting and phenomenal performances. And I want to continue giving him his flowers, and I will always continue to give him his flowers, because again, he's just someone you just don't forget. There will never be another Chadwick Boseman, just like anyone else out there. There will never be another you. So do what you do and do it well, and I promise you, magic will happen. What's up, Marvel fan? You said, I just wanted to say, great live stream. It was also my birthday last Tuesday, so yeah, keep up the great work. Happy belated birthday, Marvel fan. I hope you had a great birthday. I'm glad that you were able to make it another year. It's always a blessing to make it another year. And I'm wishing you all the best into your new year, around the sun. And yeah, thank you so much. I agree with you, man. Thank you, Kimberly. And I don't know if you're new. Maybe you're not new. Maybe you've been here for a while. But if you are new, again, I want to say thank you for joining the stream. I hope you stay tuned for more content over here. I don't really do. It's kind of weird because I usually do my Marvel related content. I may do some Marvel animation content over here, but I usually do my Marvel live action content over on my second channel, Jace TV. I'm sure you'll find it. You go to my main page. If not, if you guys have me on Twitter or any other social media, YouTube has a new feature now. You guys can do a QR code. So if you have a channel, you can go to the QR code. I can share the QR code, and all you have to do is just take a picture with your phone, and it'll send you directly to my channel, things of that nature. But I hope you stay. I hope you stick around. I hope you stay tuned. There's plenty more content coming. I'm not going anywhere. I got plenty more to do, and I am just thankful to everybody who's just been on this journey for me, and just on this journey together. It's just been a great ride. There's been some tricky roads. I won't lie. There's been some tricky twists and turns, but it's just been a great experience, and I want to continue this for as long as I can. And even, even when it's all said and done, when, I may finally get my, finally acting debut or voice acting debut, whatever that venture is, I want to take you all along on that ride as well. I don't want to go on it alone. It's just been great. So, yeah, thank you, Marvel fan. Thank you. Thank y'all, because again, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for all of the people who have supported and, liked and comment and, checked up on me and all the things. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you all, and your support. And I want to give back. I want to give back at some point, because you guys have just been amazing. You guys are amazing. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Kaden, you said, hopefully the MC will change their minds about T'Challa since they already recasted Thunderbolt Ross. Anything is possible. Exactly. That's another good point. They recasted Thunderbolt Ross. Obviously, you guys know the actor who played Thunderbolt Ross passed away. And we got Harrison Ford. We got freaking Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. That is a big thing. That is a major thing. And it's so crazy seeing the interview with him. And I think it was Phase Zero. Shout out to Phase Zero. If you guys watch Phase Zero, their live streams, they also do a lot of writing for Marvel. I know BD Davis is gone. Very sad about that, BD Davis. But all the crew there at Phase Zero, they're pretty cool people. Maybe one day it would be cool. I don't know. Maybe it would be cool to be on their show one day. I don't know if they know I exist, but it would be cool. But all that to say, like, they asked him, Harrison Ford, like, so what about Red Hulk? And he's like, what's a Red Hulk? And then we find out that he is going to be playing Red Hulk, as you guys have seen in the Captain America trailer. So yeah. Which, speaking of that, D23 was interesting. You guys know I did a video talking about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I know there's some leaks out there. Unfortunately, I have seen some footage of the show. Unfortunately, so I'll keep my opinions on what I thought about that footage until we get a trailer. But I will say from what I've seen, it is very interesting, and I'm very curious about where they go with it. That's all I will say. But yeah. But also there was the Daredevil trailer too that got leaked, and I did see that. I couldn't help myself, and that trailer looked phenomenal. Um, so I'm looking forward to when that trailer officially releases in HD, because I will. I don't know. Can I even do a reaction to something I've just seen? Definitely not. But I will do. I will maybe do like a breakdown video on my second channel if you want a breakdown video about the Daredevil Born Again trailer, and I can do that because I don't think a reaction would be really all that like sincere. I'm pretty sure there are people who fake their reactions, but again, that's not up to me. That's really none of my business. But yeah, happy belated birthday to Marvel fan. If you can, wish Marvel fan a happy birthday, and again, wishing you many many more years. My birthday is actually coming up next month, the 18th. So yeah, September 18th is gonna be my birthday, and yeah, I'm gonna be 23. It's insane to think about. 23. I've been doing YouTube for 2 years now, which is insane in itself that I've been doing YouTube for this long. But it's been a great ride. Like I said, I can't complain. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do the live stream for. I know we're at an hour right now, so that I think that's pretty good. Um, so yeah, if you have any other things that you would like to talk about, definitely put it in the chat. We can talk about it because I got time. I've only seen the leaked Thunderbolts trailer, and it looks awesome. I have it back since the beginning. I actually have not seen the Thunderbolts trailer, the leaked Thunderbolts trailer, but I did see the leaked Fantastic Four footage, and I gotta say this: if you guys, I believe they put out an image today of the Thing. It looks like it's gonna be in a practically made. You guys know like the Sonic movies. You guys see like the practical dolls that they have for Sonic and all the characters. It seems like they might be doing something similar to that with the Thing in Fantastic Four, which is gonna be really cool because I love practical sets. I love practical props. So shout out to Marvel digging more into doing more practical sets. Because I mean CGI, you can do what you can with CGI, but man, there's nothing like building practical sets and just like seeing the behind the scenes, like for Deadpool Wolverine, like the the uncanny, comic book cover with Wolverine on the cross on the X. Seeing that is like really, that was like one of those really cool moments that, again, if you guys saw my review, it's one of those things where you're like, I know where that's from. So it was really fun to see that, and I hope Marvel continues doing more practical sets like that, because there's so much more you can do with that in general. You can't, yeah, I can't wait for Sonic 3 as well. I did my trailer reaction yesterday. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm sure everybody has seen it by now, maybe. But I am looking forward to Sonic 3. It was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. We were waiting for a trailer for months and months and months, and we didn't get one. And everybody was stressing. Where's the Sonic trailer, man? We want the Sonic trailer. And we finally got it. And I said it was worth the wait. I think that trailer was worth the wait because now people are more excited than ever for this movie to come out. I'm more excited than ever for this movie to come out. Shadow looks great. All the characters look great, but Shadow looks great. Like I'm really like you can tell they made some adjustments to his design, but he looks good. Um and I know people are saying like, well, this is just Keanu Reeves in his regular voice, but maybe that's intended. Maybe that's intended because I mean that's Idris Elba in his uh, regular voice, and Ben Schwartz in his regular voice for Sonic. So maybe they're continuing that trend of doing that. But I'd say all in all, like again, like I'm just looking forward to the movie. It just like looks like it's going to be a fun movie to just go see. Which Sonic, I believe the first Sonic movie was the last movie I went to go see before our actual blip, the pandemic. Because I don't know if I can say pandemic, though I said it once and I just said it again. But that was the last ever movie I saw before we all shut down. But um, it's really cool just seeing another Sonic movie come out. Jim Carrey, national treasure. I love Jim Carrey. Anytime that I'm feeling sad or down or just depressed or just anything, because those emotions and things are natural, I just put on a Jim Carrey movie and it just makes my day just better because he just has a way of just making you laugh. And yeah, shout out to Jim Carrey. I hope I get to meet Jim Carrey one day. What are your thoughts on the Sonic trailer? Jim Carrey is my favorite actor of all time. Is he? Well, that's a really good choice of an actor to have because again, he is very versatile. He's acted in comedy. He's done some serious movies. I mean, come on, like Liar Liar, The Mask, Bruce Almighty, Me, Myself, and Irene, The Truman Show, the Sonic movies. I mean, the list goes on and on. In Living Color, shout out to the In Living Color. Fire Marshal Bill. There's a Fire Marshal Bob. I can't remember, but every time Fire Marshal Bob or Bill would come on, love those segments because, again, Jim Carrey just played that. Any role that he plays, you're going to laugh. He's going to make you laugh. So, yeah, shout out to Jim Carrey. One of my favorite Jim Carrey movies has always been The Truman Show. Yeah, The Truman Show. I watched that recently. The Mask. Interesting story about The Mask. So I think I remember watching the Mask cartoon before the actual Mask movie. So at the time, I didn't know that there was an actual Mask movie until my mom told me. She was like, "You know, there's a Mask movie, right, with Jim Carrey?" was like, huh? What? And I looked it up and I watched the movie and I was like, wow, like this is where they got all this from. It's like I did not know that. So yeah, I did not know that there was a Mask movie until my mom told me. So shout out to my mom and shout out to the Mask animated series. I remember seeing Bruce Almighty on VHS many years ago. Yeah, VHS, it just sounds like a very distant thing because not a lot of people who didn't grow up with VHS they don't know what VHS is. So it's kind of insane to think about like we grew up on VHS like we knew the Rugrats orange tapes. We knew about all that stuff. So it's kind of crazy now thinking about it. I was just talking to somebody the other day. I was like, I did anybody remember Sam Goodies? Like Sam Goodies was the store for me growing up. Like obviously Sam Goodies, you go in there to buy CDs, you go in there to buy DVDs. I don't know if they had video games. I don't think they had video games, but I know they had CDs and DVDs in there because I remember right after Michael Jackson died, which ironically enough, Michael Jackson's birthday is tomorrow. So shout out to Michael Jackson. So right after Michael Jackson died, me and my dad went into Sam Goody's, and I remember they had like these big silver cube TVs on the ceiling, and they were playing like Michael Jackson music videos like all day. And we went in there. Shout out to Craig. That was a guy who worked in there. It's sad that Sam Goody's closed down because it was just a really fun experience. But I'd always loved going in there and just like they had a certain smell in that store. It was just kind of like really interesting looking back at it. And then obviously we had Blockbuster, we had Hollywood Video, we had Radio Shack. We had like all these stores, Toys R Us, and I hate that kids now don't have that experience. They don't have that experience of like being hyped to go to a Target, being hyped to go to a Toys R Us as a kid, and just seeing all the different toys, or going to a Blockbuster and renting a movie and calling up your friends and getting a pizza at Pizza Hut when Pizza Hut was, kicking it back in the day. Like it was just I miss those times as a kid. I really do. I hate kids now don't have that experience. Yeah, Kmart. Yeah, even Kmart. The Kmart I have had in my area, it had a little Caesars in it. So again, like you go to Kmart, you get the little Caesars pizza, the hot and ready pizza. Man, I tell you, those were some times. Yeah, the orange Nickelodeon tapes. Yeah, the classic. You saw the Mask cartoon series you saw. Yeah, yeah. That's great. It's on if you guys have MeTV Tunes, it's on MeTV Tunes. I don't know what time it comes on though, but I know they put it on MeTV Tunes. Yeah, Radio Shack was another one. Like I used to go in there with my dad because he was always trying to find little things to have around the house like a scanner and things of that nature. So I remember going in there with him. Um, so yeah, like we had a lot of different stores and stuff that don't exist anymore. And when you tell people now about them, they're like, what's that?" Because all kids now know is Netflix. They don't know about Blockbuster, but what they don't know is that Blockbuster was the Netflix of that time before Netflix started taking over, and now Netflix is the big thing that it is now. And same with CDs. It's crazy. Some people, obviously people buy vinyl, which vinyl has been around for years. Um, but like CDs, like I used to have many different CDs and stuff growing up. And you'd have like a little Walkman. You put the CD in, you press the button, hit play, and boom, you know. That was it. You get your little headphones on like that. That was our thing. And then, like I said, when iPhones and smartphones they took over, and you don't hear about CDs and DVDs anymore. Obviously DVDs, because I am a physical media collector. For anybody out there, if you have a movie, you enjoy it, buy physical media, because you can't always depend on streaming to keep certain movies on, because each movie that is on a streaming platform has a licensing. When that licensing runs out, it's up in the air. It could go anywhere. It could go to a streaming platform that you don't even have, and it sucks because you won't be able to watch it unless you have physical media. So I always influence anyone: buy physical media, keep physical media alive, because there are some companies who are trying to kill it off, and we can't let them kill it off, because that's the only way we can physically own something and keep it with us without feeling like we have to constantly pay hundreds of dollars for different streaming platforms just for maybe one or two movies that we're going to watch, and that's it, you know? Yeah, it's sad that Best Buy quit selling CDs completely. Yeah, exactly. Like they stopped selling DVDs, which is a big mistake on their part, because there were still people buying, DVDs and stuff. Even with the video game industry, there's a lot of people in the video game industry. A lot of these companies are trying to stop physical sales. I'm like, why would you want to do that? Especially when a certain console, they don't do any more updates or just any more development on it. Like for example, like the Xbox 360. Recently they just stopped, Xbox Live for Xbox 360, so you can't buy any games or anything with Xbox 360, which sucks, because there may be some people who want to go back and play some of those old games, like the old Wolverine game, or the old Need for Speed games, or Crash Bandicoot, whatever. Like they can't go back and play it because they stopped. Like they just completely stopped the services for it. And yeah, that's why I say keep physical media alive, and I hope that these companies change that mistake and see the worth in physical media as a whole. But yeah, what else was there like growing up? Cable was also like a big thing for us growing up. Some people had cable, some people didn't. It just depends. But if you, I mean, you had cable, you had Disney Channel, you had Nickelodeon, you had Playhouse Disney. If you guys remember Playhouse Disney, you had Nicktoons, you had all these channels. I mean, they're still around, but at that time, like we had like Hey Arnold, we had you know the classic SpongeBob, we had the old Cartoon Network with Dexter's Laboratory and Class of 3000, and all these different shows and things of that nature on Cartoon Network. And Cartoon Network now, it's a different era. It's a different era. So, they just recently shut down their website, which is a very big bummer. They should have kept that alive. That definitely should have been, if they didn't want the website anymore, they should have at least put it on the Internet Archives for people to always go back and, check out that website. I would have done that. That's something that's like a historical. I don't know if you can do that. I feel like companies can do that. Like, you know how there's certain buildings, and if you live in a town or a city, there's certain buildings that have been there since the early 20s or 50s. Like like a diner that someone has had for a good amount of time. They use it as a historical landmark. They should be able to do that with certain websites and certain things. Don't completely end certain things. Let them be historical websites, historical landmarks, if you will. So I feel like that's something that maybe people should try to do as an idea. I don't know if it is, but I know Internet Archive is out there, so you can search up a lot of things on the Internet Archive and find certain things of the past and such. So it's really cool. That's true. They stopped Xbox 360 store and the 3DS store as of April, but even some of the games I've seen in stores recently have the case, you buy and then download the game on its own. It's weird. Yeah, it is weird. I did see GameStop. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I think GameStop is doing like a GameStop rewind. I don't know what that is in general. I don't know if that is kind of bringing back those old games. So we'll have to see. Can I just say, being a 2000s kid was the best. We had the golden age of cartoons. I'd say like, I'd say like the 2000s was like in a really interesting place because we had the old and the new. We had a lot of things that were circulating in syndication on TV from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. But then the 2000s, we got some new ideas and new shows and things of that nature. So we were like, we had the best of both worlds. I'd say, even in terms of fashion and in terms of music, we had a lot of what was done before our time, but they added some new elements to it. So they made it fresh. Um, I just think the 2000s was just a fun time. Obviously, there were some things that happen in any decade, things will happen, but there were some fun times in growing up in the 2000s. And I would imagine it's the same for any decade, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. I would imagine there's some things there that people look back on in their childhood, and it's like, man, those were the days. Those were some great days right there. I wish they kept the old cartoon building as, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Cartoon Network building should have been a historical landmark. Warner Brothers has the money. Don't let them fool you. They have the money to reserve and preserve that building as the Cartoon Network Studios. And they could have, I don't know what they could have done. They could have maybe named that street Cartoon Network Studios Road or Street or something, and just made that a historical landmark for people like us to go visit. Because I would have loved to have gone to, go visit that, that building and see all the different, art and ideas and graffiti that they had on the wall. It just looked really cool, and I would have liked to just had a step into, all these people who've made these shows on Cartoon Network, their idea process, where all these ideas came to be. It just would have been a really cool idea. Some of our favorite shows that came from there, exactly. All good, Marvel fans. Sorry, gotta go. Bye, peace. All right, man, peace. I hope you're doing good. Hope you have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your week. This definitely won't be the last live stream that I do. I'll probably try to do another one next week. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for always being supportive. See, plus you make good money for people going there. Exactly. Like, it would be really cool if they could just, if they would have just preserved it as a historical landmark. Like, that's all they really had to do. Yeah, 2000 were the best transition age. Yeah, exactly. It would have made a great museum. And who knows, maybe you could have done a thing where every year you could have done an event. I think this would have been cool. If you could do an event every year and have some of the Cartoon Network creators go to the museum and they do panels. In these panels, they talk about these shows. They, take pictures with the fans. Think of it as a Comic Con, if you will. Cartoon Network Con. I think that kind of works. But think of it like that. Like, it would be like a convention where people can come by to the Cartoon Network studios, take pictures with the creators, ask the creator questions, just have a lot of like interesting insight, because you never know how that can inspire young and up and coming people who want to get into the animation business, who want to get into that industry, but maybe they just haven't had that, push or an idea to just, you know, get that going. So again, that would have been a really cool idea for them to do. I don't understand why they didn't, think about it, but that would have been cool. Let's see. Cartoon Network, Xbox 360, and good music were all some of the fun parts about the 2000s, especially cable TV back in the day. And watching channel-oriented bumps and promos on MTV and Adult Swim. Yes. Nothing beats old school MTV. I tell you, I stayed on MTV a lot as a kid. I watched the music videos. I watched Beavis and Butthead. I watched Daria. I watched MTV Cribs. I watched Pimp My Ride. MTV was a spot where I could just go to another realm and just kind of go into the craziness of what MTV was. And, I feel like MTV made the mistake when they decided to put on all these reality esque shows like 16 and Pregnant and Teen Mom, and it just went downhill from there. It's really saddening because there's so much to offer with MTV. I don't even think they show music videos on there anymore, sadly. Music videos were such a essential part to MTV. All right. Let's see. Do get on that Cartoon Network con. I don't even think I can use that, to be honest with you. Copyright Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network would flag me in a minute for that. I would definitely get sued and it's definitely not worth it. But if there was some way I could try to maybe get in contact with some of the creators of these shows, and maybe they could maybe try to talk to Cartoon Network or Warner Brothers about it, I think it would be really cool to do like a Cartoon Network Fest or Cartoon Network Con or something, Pink Donkey and Banana Splits. Yeah, Banana Splits. I remember seeing the promo for Banana Splits on Boomerang all the time. Just one banana, two banana, three banana, four. Like that song would get stuck in my head sometimes. But it was a good theme song. Did I ever watch the Banana Splits? I think I watched the Banana Splits one time. But I definitely need to watch the Banana Splits because the theme song was definitely something I remember growing up from those bumpers and promos on Boomerang. Which shout out to Boomerang. I miss old Boomerang. And I hate they're closing down the Boomerang streaming website to put it all on Max, but you guys know how that is. You guys know how the whole Max situation is. It'll be there for maybe about 6 months and then it'll probably be gone again, but we'll have to see. College CW Fest. What was your favorite CW show? CW, I didn't really watch too much of. Excuse me. CW, I think at the time, because I believe was it UPN? It was called UPN first off, because I remember all the black shows like Martin, Moesha, things of that nature. They were all on UPN, and then wrestling used to come on Friday nights on UPN. So that was like mainly the main reasons I watched UPN, was because of that. But then they moved it to Fox, and now they're moving it to USA, and they're now moving it to Netflix. So that's a whole other thing in itself. So yeah. Let's see. Three South and undergrads were underrated cartoons back in the 2000s, especially undergrads. For the Marvel fans out there, there's a lot of DC references too. Yeah, undergrads was one of those shows that I remember distinctly, but I don't really remember it all that much. But I definitely do want to do a rewatch. And I would love to do retrospectives on some of the MTV shows and things of that nature too, because I think that would be really cool to kind of do like a blast to the past of some of these shows and what I thought about them and things like that. Gotham Knights. You talking about the game Gotham Knights? I haven't played Gotham Knights. Cartoon Network. Oh, Cartoon Network show. That's tough. It depends on the era of Cartoon Network. Because if we're talking, if we're talking all-time Cartoon Network show, that is a tough question because again, it would just depend on the era. Like I loved Dexter's Laboratory. I loved Johnny Bravo, the Powerpuff Girls, Cow and Chicken, Two Stupid Dogs. Um, and then you get into the early like 2000s. You have, Class of 3000, Puffumi um, my gym partner's a monkey. Like some of those deep cut shows that you don't really hear too much about now. And then you have Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You have, the stuff on Adult Swim, and just when Cartoon Network used to show just a variety of different things, because they used to have, they used to show rubber hose cartoons. They had the black and white segment. Then I think they had a segment where they showed animes. You had like Speed Racer, Bleach, that sort of thing that they do now with Toonami and things of that nature. I meant to say, yeah, Cartoon Network show. So then you go in 2008. That was like the live action period of Cartoon Network, which was a very gray period, very not really memorable, because again, like the live action shows, they weren't good. But then you came back to 2010. You had Adventure Time, regular show, Amazing World, Gumball, things of that nature. You had We Bear Bears. So those were shows that I grew up on. I love regular show, love Adventure Time, love the Amazing World, Gumball, and things of that nature. We Bear Bears as well. I know the creator of We Bear Bears. He's going to be doing a Disney movie. Don't know the name of the. I think it's Hops. I think the name of the movie is Hops. They announced it at D23, so that's interesting. Um, they're in the process to make an undergrads movie with Kickstarter. Oh, are they? Okay. I hope it happens. I hope it doesn't end up like the Jodie spinoff. If you guys don't know about the Jodie spinoff, if you guys aren't Daria fans, or maybe haven't heard of Daria before, but I'm sure you guys have heard of Daria. Jodie was supposed to have. At first, it was gonna be Daria and Jodie. It was gonna be a show, I think. Yeah, it was gonna be a show. Then they changed it to just Jodie, and it was still gonna be a show. Then they came out and said it was gonna be a movie instead. And then this year they canceled the movie, which I'm still really disappointed about, because they were fully done with that film and they just canceled it. I don't know why these companies keep doing that. If you're gonna invest the money to do these films, release these films, do not waste the people who work on these films in the production. Don't waste their time. Don't waste your money and their money, all for you to just axe it and just act like it doesn't exist. Because we know it exists. They should bring back late night black and white. Yeah, I wish they would. It's just like Cartoon Network is like in a different era right now. They're still trying to figure out what they want to be, it seems like. So it might be a couple years before we finally get like a fully structured, definitive Cartoon Network era right now. This is kind of the uncertain area of Cartoon Network. 2008 was the gray area, but this is like the uncertain area of Cartoon Network right now. Do you all miss the other good shows on Nickelodeon and Disney Channel? I do. Grew up with Hey Arnold. Grew up with, Angry Beavers and the Rugrats and classic SpongeBob. I say classic SpongeBob because you guys know. Um, you know, great shows. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. Um, which, by the way, I still need to do a review for Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I'll do a review on that sometime or another. Yeah, the Angry Beavers are hilarious. They are hilarious. And then you had Ah Real Monsters. The one that would freak me out is the hand eyeballs creature. That one freaked me out as a kid. Um, and there's plenty more. There's plenty more Cartoon Network shows. And then Disney Channel. Like we had House of Mouse. We had The Proud Family. We had Brandy and Mr. Whiskers, which I think Disney just recently released the first episode of Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. So hopefully a new generation will get introduced to Brandy and Mr. Whiskers, because I remember waking up in those early mornings trying to catch each episode. That and the Proud Family. I believe the Proud Family came on like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then Brandy and Mr. Whiskers came on like exactly after the Proud Family did. Dude, TMNT 2012 was probably the best adaptation we ever got for TV. Yeah, I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. I love the 1987 one. Um, but 2012, the 2012 one, man, I love going back and watching that one. And that always has good memories because my cousin at the time, shout out to my cousin, we would always like chop it up every episode. Man, did you see what happened on this episode? Did you see what Shredder did? It's like, yeah, that was crazy. So it was always fun every Saturday morning after after the episode came on that me and him would always talk about what happened on TMNT 2012. They have a game as well. I haven't played it, but if you guys know the Rad Brad, shout out to the Rad Brad. Uh, I watched him play it. It looked like a fun game. It looked like a really fun game. So maybe I'll have to get it on Steam and try it out. I would love to do streaming games in the future. That would be cool. On Twitch or maybe on here. Maybe I can dual stream some games because I do want to get into that as well because I love playing games. So we'll have to see. Let's see what the future holds. I also watched a lot of Daria on MTV as a kid. I was bummed when I heard about the cancellation of Jody since I was waiting for it since early 2023. I hope the new King of the Hill doesn't end too soon. Yeah, I know we got an update on King of the Hill recently. I think it was about Bobby. Bobby's grown up now. So I wonder what Bobby's going to be doing. I think Bobby's a chef. If I remember correctly, reading it, he's a chef now. I'm kind of curious about how they're going to do Dale. You know, rest in peace since the voice actor for Dale, he passed away. So are they going to like I don't think they're going to kill his character off. I don't think they need to, but maybe they'll just say Dale. Maybe they'll just say Dale went to Canada on accident or something, and he just never comes back. I don't know. There's probably gonna be some way they put a spin on it, but it'd be kind of funny if Dale maybe got mistaken for someone else, and he ended up in another area of the world, and he just didn't come back or something. Maybe it's because I love TMNT 2012 because I was a teenager at the time, so I could understand them. Yeah, I was a teenage. I was in middle school, I think, when that show came out. I was in middle school when it came out. So yeah, those were some great times. Middle school wasn't a great time for the most part, but you know, it is what it is. It's in the past. I really doubt it. Let's see. I played Shredder's Revenge. Oh, you have? What did you think of it? What did you think of Shredder's Revenge? I know there's a new game for the TMNT Mutant Mayhem. I don't know if came out yet, but I think it's supposed to come out this year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm so happy to see TMNT have a resurgence. Because growing up, you had TMNT, you had the Transformers, and you had the Power Rangers. I was a fan of TMNT, a little bit of a fan of the Transformers. Me and my dad, we would always go see the movies and the cartoons. I want to go see Transformers 1 with my dad, so I'll probably go see Transformers 1 with him since we have a connection bond with that. And Power Rangers, there was going to be a Power Rangers video game that was supposed to come out, but I think that got canceled, if I remember correctly. So hopefully Power Rangers can come back and make a resurgence. We got TMNT, we got Transformers coming out. Hey, Power Rangers, it's your time. Come back. I don't know what you're gonna do, but do something. I think it would be cool. So yeah. You are okay. You are going to see Transformers 1. Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Like I said, I am just I'm happy to see a lot of the stuff from our childhood come back, so younger generations and younger kids can see like, okay, Now I see why people enjoy TMNT. Now I see why people enjoy the Power Rangers and the Transformers. So yeah, are there other series that you would like to see come back in this day and age, in a resurgence? Let me know, because I think there are a few that I would love to see come back. I'm excited for the next TMNT movie. I am too, especially after watching Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show. They laid up a lot of interesting things that I think we're gonna see in the sequel. I won't say what. I won't spoil it, but there are some things to look forward to in the next sequel. So I am looking forward to it. Um, I enjoyed that teaser at the end of it. Yeah, yeah. The Power Rangers was the best. Yeah. Shout out to the Green Ranger. Rest in peace to him. Dale will probably be moved out in the new series. Hopefully, his house gets bought by Rusty Shackleford instead, in a funny, bittersweet way. Dale would like it. Yeah, I would like that. That's a good idea. I would like that. I hope that happens. Who knows? It might just happen. Yes, rest in peace to Jason David Frank. Rest in peace. And that's why I say, like, people always spend all their time online hating stuff and giving these, like, toxic opinions. But then when these people pass away, now it's kind of like people want to show up to the funeral. It's like, you know, that's why I say, like, you never know what someone's going through. You never really know what someone's going through. And, we didn't know what he was going through at the time. So again, just be mindful of people. Because again, you never know. You say, what's annoying? What's annoying? What's up? What do you think's annoying? How come some great shows get canceled after one season today, but so many bad shows get renewed for more? That is a question I wish I knew the answer to. I really do wish I knew the answer to. Because if it was up to me, there would be a lot of shows right now that would still be getting multiple seasons. I could think of a handful right now. Close Enough, Final Space, um, Infinity Train. There's so many great shows that we had that only got 2 or 3 seasons. Maybe not even 2 or 3 seasons, and they were done. They just got scrapped. And I hate that for the creators of these shows, because you can tell that they put so much passion into these shows, especially Olan Rogers. A big Olan Rogers fan. And I'm looking forward to Godspeed. I'm really looking forward to what he does with Godspeed. Um, because it looks great. And I know he's still working on the Final Space, final chapter book. But that's not the way I wanted the show to end. I wanted the show to keep going, because that cliffhanger we got was just, I was so into that cliffhanger that I feel like we should have got more. And I don't know. Like I even the Scoob Holiday Hunt. Like I would have liked to have seen that. Even though the Scoob movie had its fair share of issues, I still would have preferred to see that over Velma any day. Um, and now they're doing a live action Scooby Doo series for Netflix, which I'm like, okay, I guess that could be fine, but you're gonna get this whole thing where people are gonna be like, well, they're not gonna be able to beat the original live action Scooby Doo. I mean, that casting for that Scooby Doo in the early 2000s, that was casting. That was some great casting. And I just, not saying that people can't top it, because that kind of defeats the point of this, but they'd have to do something they would have to get actors that people will know, or we don't know, that there's some potential in this. If it was up to me, I would have renewed Mystery Incorporated. I love Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated because they had so much storytelling and lore to the Scooby Doo characters that I don't think we've gotten before. That I would have loved to have seen them expound upon even more. Yeah, that show was given so much hate, and they gave it love. Yeah, yeah, close enough. Yeah, close enough was great. Shout out to JG Quintel, and I know he's got the new regular show spinoff, and I'm looking forward to it. But I would have preferred him to continue close enough because these are new characters. I would imagine maybe they were in the same realm, or maybe they were meta to the regular show world because we did get regular show references in the show, but it felt more like a meta joke, like some Easter eggs in Close Enough more than it did like a connection to it. But who knows? We wouldn't have really known where it would have gone. Now, unfortunately, so we'll just have to see what JJ Quintel has going for the new regular show series. You know what was a good show that sadly ended? The OG Teen Titans show from the 2000s. Yeah, I the Teen Titans to me they could have kept that going too because that cliffhanger there is a that cliffhanger had like there were some implications to that we could have seen the Teen Titans go in a more I'd say not I'd say more mature route in terms of storytelling, in terms of things, certain stories they could tell. We don't get a follow up on that. It'd be nice if we did, but I don't know if they will because they're very invested in Teen Titans Go. They love Teen Titans Go, and some people are gonna say, "Oh, you're a hater of Teen Titans Go." It's not that. Like I understand that. I understand the success of Teen Titans Go. I understand the references and all the jokes in between for Teen Titans Go, but that's not what I envision a Teen Titans show to be. I envision a Teen Titans show to be Teen Titans in situations like in the original show. Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated was the best series of the Scooby Doo franchise. I liked how dark it was. Yeah, they Mystery Incorporated did not was not afraid to veer into darker storylines, into the deeper lore of Scooby Doo. Some things we didn't really think about, some things we didn't really know about the Scooby Doo gang, and just some character arcs as well. Like the whole arc that Shaggy went on. Like Shaggy literally shaved his hair off. Like it was just it was just really an interesting take on Scooby Doo and some of the things that you kind of noticed with the original show, but you really didn't think too much about it until Mystery Incorporated. So I really praise that show for what they were able to do with the storytelling. I miss watching the original Teen Titans Go every day before school and then Batman the Animated Series in the evening. I do too. I do too. Again, Cartoon Network, Boomerang, like great times. Great times. You know what would have made a good creative finale for the OG Teen Titans? If they made their origin episode, if they made the origin episode their series finale. That's a cool note to end on. Okay, so kind of like that, like kind of how they did, so kind of like a full circle moment with the first episode. That would be interesting. That kind of reminds me of what they did with the regular show finale. You guys remember Mordecai and Rigby going back to the first episode, The Power, and they're like saying all their lines from that episode, and then they're like, "Wait a minute, we've done this before with the whole power thing." So that would have been an interesting concept. Did you ever watch Static Shock? I did. I love Static Shock. That's another theme song that was stuck in my head growing up. And I remember Static Shock. They teamed up. Who did Static Shock team up with? They teamed up with someone. I remember. I forgot who it was though, but I know Static Shock had many different theme songs and stuff. Um, they, I enjoyed Static Shock, and if it was up to me, I hope James Gunn does do a live action Static Shock. I don't know who would play Static Shock, but I think it would be cool. If not live action, maybe an animated Static Shock series. But I mean, they can do both too, because I mean, with the DCU characters from animation, we're going to live action like Creature Commandos, and Blue Beetle is rumored to get his own series, which he already has his own live action movie. So why not? I think that would be cool to introduce Static Shock, have him and Blue Beetle team up. I think that would be cool. Maybe have them have like a friendship bond. Maybe have them hanging with Booster Gold. Maybe they could do a team together. I don't know if they team up in the comics, but I think that would be cool. Gear. Okay, his name was Gear. It was his friend Richie who became Gear. Okay, yeah, that's who it was, Gear. Thank you for letting me know that. But yeah, that was a really cool episode when him and Gear teamed up. Yeah, regular show was so good, man. It was so good. It's one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows of all time, for sure. I've watched it so many times. So yeah, so many great episodes, great music, great characters. You see character arcs. I think people give Mordecai too much flack, calling him a simp and all that. I've never really understood the whole thing. Again, internet has their trends. I get it. But I never really saw Mordecai as a simp or whatever they call it. I just think Mordecai was very misguided. Um, Being young, dumb, you're going to be misguided. You're going to make mistakes. Now, I wouldn't say as far as crashing someone's wedding, that was a little too far. I will say that, but I don't think he was a simp for that. I don't think he should be, criticized for that. And it seems like that's all people can criticize him for is the wedding crashing, but it's really not that big. Because Mordecai has shown he's a caring person. He cares about his friends. He cares about the people involved. He's made some mistakes. Rigby's made some mistakes. All the characters have made some mistakes at some point, but that's the part of them growing. That's the part of them developing. So yeah, I hope that series, the continuation series, expounds upon that even more with Mordecai and Rigby, or any of the new characters that we might see. The 2010s of Cartoon Network was also pretty good. Yeah, it was. It wasn't as good as the 2000s, but it worked enough. Yeah, I think what's interesting about the 2010s era of Cartoon Network as, to the 2000s. The 2000s was the beginning. It was the Big Bang. So much led to so many things, like all the different shows, all the different commercials, the time where Cartoon Network invaded Nickelodeon. So much, right? And then you get to 2008, it dies down with the live action stuff, but then 2009, 2010, it picks back up. You get the Looney Tunes show, which you just Katie, you just mentioned the Looney Tunes show, which is another great show. I love the Looney Tunes show. It might be my favorite iteration. Obviously, the original comes first of the Looney Tunes, but it's my second favorite iteration of the Looney Tunes. I love the dynamic of what they were able to do with that show. Porky and Daffy living together as roommates. That's like a really interesting concept, and just seeing the crazy dynamic between those two is really funny. And just how they were able to include all the characters, some of the songs, grilled cheese, like, come on, Elmer Fudd singing grilled cheese like he's Barry White, like, come on, like, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. Looney Tunes show will always be a great show and just a great Looney Tunes iteration. And I hated that show didn't get more seasons because I enjoyed watching it every single time it came on. Which brings back to the point of just like some of the Looney Tunes projects that we had, and they get canceled, they get scrapped, and it sucks because I mean, you guys know that I was excited for Bye Bye Bunny. Like when he announced Bye Bye Bunny, I was very excited because a musical with the Looney Tunes. I mean, that's a match made in heaven. Like a lot of kids growing up, one of the things that they'll tell you about Looney Tunes is just some of the music that you hear. You know, like what's opera doc? You know, the opera. It got me into opera. So I, as funny as that is as a kid, like opera of all things, like yeah, like opera. So yeah, and there's different things of that nature. So I think a musical with the Looney Tunes, like you can't make it up. Like that's a great idea. Why would you not want to sell that? Why would you not want to promote that? Um, Personally, to be honest, they should have released Bye Bye Bunny instead of The Crow because that new Crow movie is not doing too hot. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Not trying to be that guy or nothing, but you know, you see certain things and certain things that come out, and it's like, you know, you would have had something great if you had just done, you know, kept these projects right here. You would have made an investment back if you had done that, because I just don't think the Crow movie is going to make an investment back for Warner Brothers, and they're already struggling as is right now. They're trying to act like they're not struggling. They got money, but they're trying to act like they're struggling right now. But again, like personally, they should have just kept it going. I never get over they canceled Coyote vs. Acme. Yeah, Coyote vs. Acme was another movie. Like, I remember hearing about it. I'm like, ooh, Coyote vs. Acme. Like, Wiley Coyote finally getting his own movie. Even though there are obviously there's other people involved. But just Wiley Coyote, like that's a character we've always wanted to have more development on, character development. I feel like in the years of these, you know, these characters, the Looney Tunes characters, we know who these characters are and all the crazy wackiness that they do. But it would be really cool to just see some character development with these characters. Like there was a Pepe Le Pew movie that was gonna happen at some point. I got canned, and I remember people trying to cancel Pepe Le Pew because they thought Pepe Le Pew was this like how can I say it? Uh he had too much love on the brain. I guess that's the YouTube way of saying it. Safer YouTube way of saying it. He had too much love on the brain, which to me I never really saw that in him. I just think he's a very affectionate skunk. Because the joke is he's a skunk and he's very affectionate, and a skunk is like the thing you want to stay away from because they smell bad. So I got the joke even as a kid, so I didn't really see where all these, you know, people were trying to cancel Pepe Le Pew and, you know, all this. Like I think people will just get mad, just find something to be mad about on the internet because they got nothing else better to do, really. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, that movie would have been a gold mine. It was yeah. Yeah, the Crow was going to be buried. Yeah, yeah, the Crow movie. Like I saw the trailer for the Crow movie. Like obviously I've seen the original Crow movie, but I saw that the trailer for that, and I was like, I'm not interested in this. And there's no disrespect to the people involved. It's just that I just don't. I don't know. I just didn't see it as a movie that I'm interested in. And it seems like the majority of people feel the same way, and that's unfortunate. You know, that's unfortunate, but again, you know, yeah, the Crow movie will be buried. I think the Crow movie is on Blu-ray and DVD already. And usually, if you notice, if there's a movie, and even with successful movies, which that's another topic in itself, but if a movie is doing not good, they usually put it on digital like a week or two after, because they know the film is a flop. They know it's not good. And I usually don't like calling films a flop, but I'm gonna call a spade a spade. So yeah, it is what it is. So I think they should have just released Bye Bye Bunny instead of the Crow, and they would have made a return on their investment. But again, that's just me. Or even the Looney Tunes, the day the Earth blew up, the Looney, the day the Earth blew up would have been also a good choice had Warner Brothers not decided to pass on that. And now we're still waiting for that U.S. release. So hopefully we'll get the U.S. release soon for that movie, because I'm definitely going to go see that. I've been hearing some good things about it. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, going back to the conversation about movies, there are some movies like, what was it? The movie with Ryan Gosling that they did. Like they released that like a month later on digital, which was a bad decision on their part because that movie was still making money in the theaters. And then like after the movie came out, yeah, The Nice Guys, there it is, The Nice Guys. And then like after that movie came out on digital, people were like, okay, well, what's the point? I can see it on digital. I don't need to go. Oh no, no, that was in 2016. Okay, 2016. Okay, I'm trying to remember what movie. What was that Ryan Gosling movie that came out this year? But yeah, that they put that out a month later, and people were like, "What's the point? I don't need to go to the movies to see this. I can see it on digital." So they lost money by doing that, and people can say what they want about Disney, give Disney a lot of crap. But one thing I will say about Disney is when they know that a movie is doing good, they wait a couple of months to put the movie on Disney Plus or put it out on digital because they know they can still make money off of the movie even after the first opening week. Yes, the opening week is important, but if you're able to make money after the opening week, I feel like you've made a successful movie. Deadpool Wolverine is still climbing at the billions. Inside Out is still climbing at the billions. It's the top animated movie of all time now. Because Disney gave some faith in it and it made a lot of money for them. Deadpool Wolverine, it made a lot of money for them. The Alien movie, it's making some money for them. So again, like, which I did go see the new Alien movie, by the way. I do have a review that I am gonna do for that at some point. A 2 minute review, since there are some people who like the 2 minute reviews that I did before. See, Katie, you said we were all looking forward to Bye Bye Bunny, but at least we're officially getting the day the Earth blew up. But hopefully there is another opportunity to make the first Looney Tunes musical. If no one else gets on the idea to do a Looney Tunes musical, I would love to do a Looney Tunes musical for a Looney Tunes musical. I would love to do one. I think it would be really cool to go into the classic Looney Tunes feel and do the whole orchestra and the dance numbers and all the stuff that the Looney Tunes did in the classic Looney Tunes cartoons. I think that would be really fun to just have something like that for those characters. We were gonna get some backstory on Bugs Bunny because we all know Bugs Bunny is a popular. He's the mascot of the Looney Tunes, and depending upon who you ask, and just kind of having that life with him, like he doesn't want to be in the mainstream anymore. He just wants to be a regular rabbit. That's some character development we haven't really seen before. Because Bugs is he's always so prone to be in the spotlight. And Daffy's kind of always been the one who's wanted the spotlight, but he's never really gotten it unless he's done some really crazy that people are like, yes, we don't have to deal with that duck anymore, and then that sort of thing. So, unless you're before Bugs Bunny, before he became a popular character, it was more like Daffy Duck was the popular character, and then Bugs, came onto the scene, and things started to change. Um, but yeah, yeah, Bye Bye Bunny would have been a really cool thing, and I hope that Bye Bye Bunny can be saved. I hope it can be saved because I would love to see that film. I know they were going to put it on Max and Cartoon Network, but again, I think it's a missed opportunity for you not to put these films in theaters. I mean, they're doing that with the new Lord of the Rings movie. I think it's Lord of the Rings. I think it's Lord of the Rings, right? There's a new animated Lord of the Rings movie that I think is coming out in theaters. I'm hearing people say it looks good. So maybe it is good. If it does good, we'll see. But like I said, I think it's a missed opportunity to not put one of your biggest franchises of all time on the big screen and not give the people involved who worked hard on the animation and the production and the voice acting and all of the factors that come into making a film, making animation what it is, and just let all that work go to waste. Why would you do that? I think Kimberly, you said something. Where's there something you said, Kimberly? Duck Amuck. Yeah, Duck Amuck. That was the Looney Tunes. It was a Looney Tunes short with Daffy, and the scenery keeps changing because the artist that we know is Bugs is behind all the changing. Honestly, Warner Brothers and HBO made a lot of questionable decisions. They have made a lot of questionable decisions. They let the NBA go. Like, why would you do that? That's one of your biggest markets. Like, why? Like, you had Shaquille O'Neal, you had Kenny Smith, you had Charles Barkley, you had all of these basketball legends talking about the NBA, and you let them go. What were you thinking? I don't understand where all these decisions are coming from. I know where they're coming from. We know where they're coming from, but I don't understand why. You know? Why get rid of what's making you money? What's getting rid of what's making people happy? And I think honestly what companies need to understand is it's not always about what makes the top dollar. Sometimes you have to keep things on that people enjoy or discover later down the road because you never know. Certain things might get popular later on, and then you could be like, you know what? We're glad we're kept this because now we can do more things with this. I don't know why businesses don't think with that mentality. Like Velma and the Flash. Yeah, I agree. Especially the Flash. My goodness. I wish I could reverse Flash time to that I watched even spending time with that movie. Instead of giving us Batgirl and Kelly Versace, yeah, even Batgirl. Like I felt so bad for everybody involved and even the actress involved with the film. I felt so bad for her because she seemed very like excited. Like she seemed very excited to see herself on the screen on the big screen and she was very excited. She was talking about social media, and then they just said, "Yeah, your movie's not happening. You just broke somebody's dreams like that." I know people say, "Oh, it's a business. This is what businesses do," but business can be a very cold hearted thing. Daffy Duck. This is a close up. This is a close up, you jerk. Yeah, yeah. Daffy Duck has a lot of great, memorable quotes and lines and stuff. And that's why I say, like, Warner Brothers, you're not using these characters to your benefit because there's so much you can do with them. And no, I'm not talking about the same merchandising clothes that you continue to put out every single year. Really put these characters in the forefront. Really make these characters feel like actual things. You know, like I said, like speaking about nostalgia, and oftentimes I don't like going too far into nostalgia because sometimes we can get blinded by it. But thinking about like the time when you guys remember the Looney Tunes shirts with the hip hop Looney Tunes, you know, with the skateboarding clothing when skateboarding was popular. That era to me is always an era that I enjoyed because it was just really cool to see all these cartoon characters just have these like wacky hip hop outfits, and I don't know. That was just a really fun time, but it felt like there was a new resurgence for those characters. You know what would be fun to bring back from the 2000s? What? Let me know what you think would be fun to bring back. Oh yeah, you guys see my Deadpool necklace? I have the other part of the necklace, the Wolverine part, but I'm saving it for a special someone. So yeah, so I'm waiting to give that to her because I was supposed to go to the movie with her and it didn't work out. But when I do see her, I'm gonna give it to her, the Wolverine part, since she loves the color yellow and she's a big Wolverine fan. So yeah, yeah. Let's see. You know what would be fun to bring back? Okay, that's right. You just said that. Justice League series, an animated series. Ooh, we did have Young Justice, but I know you're talking about like an actual Justice League series. But I enjoyed Young Justice too. Like that was fun seeing all the Young Justice League members go on certain missions and do villains and things of that nature. I wish they would continue Young Justice as well. I really do. That's another show that I feel like Warner Brothers did not take any, liberty in. But Justice League animated series would definitely be I think that could be interesting because what they could do with that, especially with the new DCU, you know, if there's some stories that they could tell, not in live action, or maybe some side stories that could lead up to the live action movie for Justice League, that would be cool in itself. Because with the DCU, it seems like a lot of the characters are already established. Like, there's obviously going to be some new characters that may get some origin stories in between. But we know with Superman, he's been Superman for a good minute. Uh, Batman, obviously, Batman's been in the game for a good minute. If they're doing Brave and the Bold with Damian Wayne and the Bat family, so I don't see why they couldn't do maybe like a origin animated Justice League series for the DCU. Oh shoot, you know what would be great? Danny Phantom. Yeah, Danny Phantom. I know there was like a talk of doing a live action Danny Phantom movie, and I think they were trying to get Tom Holland to play him. I'm not really keen on that. I would like to see a Danny Phantom series with Danny Phantom grown up, and maybe they can go lean more into like some dark, scary horror elements with Danny Phantom now that he's grown up and with Samantha and that sort of thing. I think that would be cool. Maybe them in college. I don't know. Maybe young adults, maybe just getting out of college. I'm sure there's something they could do to, bring like an element for people that grew up with Danny Phantom to kind of relate to, as adults, as young adults. I'm sure we had a lot of superhero series, but the ones that were original like Ben 10 and Danny Phantom really stood out uh, for how new it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Danny Phantom was a very fresh and new idea that I feel like Nickelodeon definitely could have done more with. They could have, for some reason, Nickelodeon and spin offs don't work out. So I don't know if they could have done that, but maybe they could have done like a comic book series. I know there's a new Danny Phantom comic book series that's out, but I think if they would have done like a Danny Phantom comic book series, like maybe after the show ended and kind of kept it going, I think that would have been really cool. Um, Kind of like the Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes have comics. They've been running comics for years. Um, so yeah, they're pretty good read. So I think that would have been cool to keep Danny Phantom going. Let's see. I'd love to see them do a Danny Phantom live action movie. That would be great. Yeah, it just all depends on who's playing Danny Phantom and the story and whatnot. Plus, there's a lot you can work with, and you can even have Butch Hartman, the creator, make a cameo. Yeah, you can. You can. Um, Regardless how you feel about Butch Hartman, he did create the Fairly Odd Parents to some degree, depending upon who you ask, and he did create Danny Phantom. So give credit where credit is due. But yeah, that you're right, Caden. Yeah, there's so much hidden potential with Danny Phantom. There is. Like I said, they could do that. They could do comics. They could do a whole series with Danny Phantom and the crew grown up, taking on more darker stories, some spooky elements, some lore that we may not have seen before. Um, because I mean, people have that running theory of Danny Phantom is Timmy Turner, which I think has probably been debunked. I don't know. It's probably been debunked, but I know people had a theory like that at one point. I mean, they have similar hairstyle and that sort of thing. What do you think would have been a good finale for Fairly Odd Parents? Channel Chasers or Wishology? So, I would say Channel Chasers. If there would have been an interesting way for them to twist maybe Poof, like if I don't know, that's tough. Wishology would have been a good place to end too. That's tough. Cause I mean, like it would have been cool to like had this series end with Cosmo and Wanda. They have Poof, and then say like what they're doing with the new Fairly Odd Parents series with the new character. It would have been cool if they could have had maybe say a time jump or whatever after the ending of the original series. Then we get the new characters. We get Cosmo and Wanda with the new kid, um, Poof, who's now Perry. Um, we get maybe some story with that. What happened in between the time of Timmy and now? Um, what was Perry up to around that time? Maybe get some inclusion of some characters. Maybe we get a Timmy Turner. Maybe not like I mentioned in the first season, but maybe we see him on a billboard or something. Maybe Timmy's a car salesman or um, he owns his own company or something. You know, I don't know. Maybe he's a ghost hunter. I don't know. They could have done something. And that would have been a cool way to kind of tie these characters back in if they wanted to do that. But now we kind of know how that went. They Fairly Odd Parents went on for too long. They started adding other characters. They added the dog and then Chloe, and the animation style changed. It was just a mess, and yeah. But I think either Channel Chaser or Wishology would have been the best place to end the series. And then, like I said, if they wanted to continue with the new kid and maybe expound in the same world as Fairly Odd Parents, but maybe decades later, they could have done that. You know a series that always grinds my gears with something always grinds my gears with some cartoons nowadays? What's that? I hate when some shows start off all cute. Gotcha. Yeah, certain shows they kind of start off, kind of comedic at first, but then they get dark out of nowhere with so much lore. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're referring to. I do notice that. I noticed that with some shows recently. I don't want to say the popular one because I know a lot of people would get pissed off if I say that one. So I'll say like maybe Amphibia or the Owl House. I didn't really watch those shows, but from what I could tell, I could tell they kind of started out with kind of like a silly kind of like vibe to them, and then kind of like halfway through, they're kind of like, oh, now things have gotten serious. Um, yeah, it is kind of weird how that happens. Maybe it's a change in ideas. Change in ideas happen all the time. Sometimes you have ideas, let's make this silly, goofy show, and then maybe let's add some serious, crazy lore into it, because why not? It happens. Adventure Time, yeah, Adventure Time's another one. I didn't mind it too much. Um, Regular show, you could kind of say regular show, kind of did that, but with regular show there was kind of something that was leading up to a big thing, but we just didn't know what. Um, and I guess Jolly Good Show, that quote Jolly Good Show could mean for Pops just a regular show. His life was just a regular life. So I think that's kind of a bittersweet way to kind of make it feel like maybe this was all in Pops's memories. All the memories of Mordecai and Rigby were all Pops. Maybe. I'm not sure. But Pops is definitely a pivotal character throughout regular show. But yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a good show, but it does anger me that starts off out of nowhere serious. Like there's seasons of goofy, but then it becomes the darkest, most lore driven ever. Yeah, and to me that feels like it might be changing direction, maybe, because sometimes people feel like, okay, we've done the silly stuff. Can we add, something else to it? So that might be where they get the idea from. Honestly, I'm not sure. Katie, you said I heard Steven Universe was kind of that way. I think it started out more funny and it got more intricate by the end. Yeah, Steven Universe is another one. That's the show was going to say, but I didn't want to say it because I know how some people are about Steven Universe. If you say anything about it, people get kind of quick to um, be like, "What are you saying about Steven Universe?" But it's just saying like, again, like ideas come out. Sometimes one idea is this way, and then sometimes you're like, let's do this. And it kind of turns out a completely different direction. It happens all the time. But I do understand the confusion as to why. The confusion as to why um, it, a change in tone just happens out of the blue like that. I thought you were going to say Chicken Nugget because that series is the same. I haven't seen Chicken Nugget before actually. This is my first time actually hearing about Chicken Nugget. So you're teaching me something new today that I didn't even know. A brand new show series. The series is the same, okay. But yeah, I understand the confusion. I'm probably gonna get off in like a where did that dark lore come from? It was just animals with cute names and then poof darkest lore. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you honestly. I actually don't know where it came from. So it's just a pet peeve of mine. I get it. I understand. I understand. I feel like sometimes some shows just don't need a change in tone, and sometimes ideas and crazy plots and stuff, and people have ideas, and maybe they just want it to be something else. But you know, again, it's all subjective at the end of the day, and I get it. You have your right to have a pet peeve about it. But yeah, I wish I knew too. Not every show needs to be a dark lore driven show. Some shows just can be silly because they are silly and they make people laugh, and that's fine. You don't always need to. And I think this is another weird twisted fascination with Hollywood and just kind of viewers. This whole twisted thing of everything has to be this dark, brooding, gore, mature story, and it doesn't always have to be that way. We can have things that are just silly. We can have things that just don't make any sense. Like we grew up with a literal show with a cow and a chicken. It didn't need to make sense. It was just a cow and a chicken doing silly, crazy stuff, but it worked. Like you don't always have to do the crazy driven stuff all the time. Um, so yeah, I agree. I don't think everything needs to be a dark, brooding thing to show appeal or appeal to audiences all the time. If you're going to make a dark lore driven series, make it off from the bat, not after several seasons. Yeah, I only give regular show leeway because it made it clear that was going to be that way from day one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the power. Because when you really think about it, when you have a keyboard that you can literally send someone to the moon, there's a giant moon monster. That's some serious stuff. That's some really serious stuff. Bunch of baby ducks, send them to the moon. Sewing machine that doesn't work, send them to the moon. That's so true. And I hear people say that either all Hollywood needs to be is funny or it needs to be all serious. I agree that everything should always be balanced in between genres. Exactly. We gotta have a balance because if everything is just one thing, it feels too easy. It feels too easy. I love having movies that are serious. I love having movies that are funny. I love having movies that are able to mix the two and maybe add a little bit of horror in between. Maybe add a little bit of romance in between. I mean, like if you're able to tell a good story and you're able to do it so well that you can mix all the different kinds together, I think you got it made, personally. And that's why we have all the different genres of music. Imagine just listening to one genre of music. Imagine if there was just only pop music. Like that's it. No rock music, no rap, no hip hop, no country, just pop. Imagine how plain and boring that would be. Same with movies. Imagine if there was just only action movies. No comedy, no western, no romance, no animation, no nothing. Just standard action. It was just boring. I'm glad we get so many different blends of genres and a balance of different things because you get to see a different angle of life through different movies. Let's see. If you have any more questions or comments, definitely put them down below because I'm gonna end the stream because we're heading upon 3 hours. It's crazy. We've been talking for 2 hours. And we started this talking about Recast T'Challa, and we went off and started talking about a bunch of other things, which is awesome. Love having these conversations every single time. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do more streams. By the way, best of luck on that person. Yeah, I want to do more streams and just kind of talk more topics. I know I usually talk more Marvel stuff on my second channel. Again, if you guys haven't followed my second channel, Jace TV, like I said, it should be when you click on my home page, you should see Jace TV. It might be the first thing to come up. I'll have to check and see, but yeah, that's where I usually talk Marvel stuff. But I decided to come on here and do it because why not? I'm pretty sure I'd get more people on here than my second channel. But I want to say thank you to everyone who had a chance to stop by, give their opinions on Recast T'Challa. We talk about other things, nostalgia, Cartoon Network, animation, all the good conversations. I enjoy every single bit of them. And I hope you all have an amazing day, week, weekend. And as I always say, if you enjoy something, uh, enjoy it and do it well and keep going at it, and you will succeed. Success is what we make it out to be, and success doesn't always have to be a trophy. Success doesn't always have to be a million viewed video. Just being able to have people, a community, a connection with others that you can be able to chat with them and make friends, to me, that is the biggest reward. And thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor Palm. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank everybody for stopping by. Really, it's great. And I say it a lot, but I would not be here if it wasn't for you all. Kaden, you said, I wish a lot of the gatekeeping culture would learn to enjoy varieties of music and shows that are essential to being human instead of impressing a lot of people. I feel some get lost in. You know what? That is a good conversation because I seen a study on Twitter. I believe it was yesterday. Now, for whatever reason, a study came out that from 10 to 24 years old, which why are you, um, why are you even interviewing 10-year-olds about this particular topic? But this was about, let's just say, when two people are in love and they fall in love and they get down to business, we'll just say that. Wink, wink. Get down to business. Um, there are particular scenes of people getting down to business in movies. Now, what was that part I could understand because it is kind of embarrassing to see people kind of do those sort of things in movies. But the part that got me was about romance. They said that romance is overrated in movies. And that kind of bothered me because I feel like romance is something that romantic movies are something you don't really see much of in today's time because it feels like with social media and a lot of people who think they can run podcasts and all these sort of things telling people how they should treat people and when they're in love and how certain relationships should be and all this other stuff, all the toxic stuff. And it's kind of driven people to a point where it feels like a battle between two sides or a battle between many sides when the ultimate goal should be to learn how to love and show growth with not just yourself, but with someone that you want to be involved with in your life. Rather, it could be maybe for about 6 months, or maybe you eventually want to get married to that person. We don't really have those kind of movies anymore because for whatever reason people think they're overrated. I personally don't think they're overrated. I think we need more love, more romantic movies and that sort of thing, and I just that study kind of bothered me, but it is what it is. We're all gonna have our own different opinion, but I don't think romantic movies should come to an end because of a study. Why are you studying 10-year-olds about mature subjects that they don't even know about? Their parents probably haven't even given them the talk. So I just thought that was kind of weird. You're amazing, bro. You have the most informed opinions on YouTube and a very positive outlook that everybody enjoys. It's always great seeing your journey grow. And you too, Caden. You always come into the streams and support, and like I said, everybody that just comes in and supports what I do, right, it could be talking about anything like Recast Tchalla, uh, Marvel, DC, whatever it is that we just talk about, we chat about it. We always end up talking about other things, so it's always great to just have these conversations with everybody and just kind of see where their thoughts are. And sometimes I know sometimes it's kind of well needed. Sometimes you might be alone, you feel alone, you may need someone to talk to. I get the same way. So it's just another great way to interact with people and just chat and talk with them. So again, thank y'all so much for everything. Like seriously. I'm wishing I'm wishing you the best too, Professor Palm. And I'm very proud of how far you've come as well. You've come very far. As long as I've known you, you're going to hit every single goal that you want to get to. Just keep working hard at it, and I promise you you will get there. It is going to happen. Yeah, hopefully I can hit 3,000. It would be nice. I had a goal to hit 5,000, but I don't think that's realistic now. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit 5,000. Who knows though? I said the same thing about hitting 1,000 and it happened before the year ended. So who knows? Anything can happen by now until then. So we'll see. I agree. Some Hollywood executives should learn to let movies live and love instead of letting some die in the fear of it. Exactly. Exactly. There is nothing wrong with showing love. There's nothing wrong with showing people who are obviously in love with each other and have pride in that. Be proud of that. Like, come on. 2K is mine. Right now, 1.8K. You'll definitely get there. You're just 200 away. Think about it like this. I'm already at 2,000. I just need to reach the finish mark. But you're already there. The same way that Caillou vs. Acme should have lived to see the light day. Exactly. It should have. I just, and that's why, we have these ideas and thoughts and things that we want to do, and it's up to us. Because when it's all said and done, when, these older people who are in charge of these companies and these corporate offices who keep doing these dirty tricks and fooling people and scamming people out of their time, money, and dedication, it's up to us as the younger generation to put a stop to all this and make things better for the future going forward. We are the future, and I really believe that. So it's up to us. And I know we're going to do great things. We're going to do great things because we're already doing great things. You guys are already doing great things. Everybody in here right now, even if you feel like you're not doing great things, you are doing great things. Just keep at it, and I promise you, everything that you work hard for, you're gonna make it happen. Because I know that you will make it happen. You are the future, Days. Now we're all the future. I don't want to say me, because I'm just a guy at the end of the day who's just optimistic. I don't like being negative. I don't like being the guy who says, "Oh, everything's gonna go to, complete disaster." I don't want to. I don't want to feel that way. Because it's not good when you feel that way. I want to be able to feel positive. I want to be able to feel optimistic. Just like I feel optimistic about recasting T'Challa. I feel like it will happen. I don't know when, but I hope Marvel listens. I don't know if anybody at Marvel is listening to this, live stream, but if there's somebody here, let me tell you, I want to see this character back. I don't want T'Challa Jr. I want this character to come back, and Many others in the stream and outside of the stream and on social media, they want to see this character come back and give it grace. That's all we ask. But yeah, that's really all you can do. Um, when I get to 2K, I'm gonna do my first live stream. Any advice? Just be yourself. You don't have to have the best setup. I don't have the best setup. I'm doing it on my cell phone. Like all my videos, I'm doing my live streams on my cell phone. I'm pretty sure my quality is not good. All that. And I'm sure I'll work on it. I'll get a computer and all that, and I'll have a fancy camera and all that cool stuff. But right now, just be yourself, work with what you have, and just, yeah, hey, just if you want to check out my past live streams to kind of get some influence or some inspiration, go for it. I welcome anyone to, any influence that you want to have to, progress further in YouTube or whatever the case may be. Go for it. Use me as your influence. I agree. We're all the future, especially everyone reading this live stream. Yeah, we're all the future. Yo, I am back. I did not know your live would be going this long. Yeah, I'm just talking for a little bit more. I'm gonna head off in like a few minutes because I do have to do something, and I don't want to keep you guys on too long because I know it's like close to 3 hours, which is insane. We've been talking for 3 hours. Usually our streams are kind of long anyway. The last stream I think was like 2 hours too. So, yeah. So, any other last thoughts? Let me know. But again, thank you all so much for coming out to the stream. Everybody from before who may not be here or playing it on the replay. Yes, Recast Tchalla, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Uh, I'm just here to honor the legacy. Really, I'm just here to honor the legacy of a great actor and continue the legacy of a great character. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you all so much for coming in. Thank you so much for coming in. As I always say, big love to you all, and peace out.